And good morning again, everyone, on a Saturday, the 4th of April, 2026. Good old 710 KNUS Denver's talk station. And the weather, sunny and 64. Tomorrow on Easter, it's 70 and 67 degrees on Monday. This is a very special show for me and for, of course, my colleague Jonathan Flora is with me. But this goes back. And I'm watching the Republican dash race, whatever you want to call it, for who gets the gubernatorial nod. And there's someone who has emerged in all of this, and his name is Victor Marx. And we've had the jiu-jitsu guys on to talk about how they feel about his claims for a 7th-degree black belt, a 7th-degree black belt, and something called a black belt in weapons. I've watched them. Pardon me?
What is that again?
It's called a 7th-degree black belt in jiu-jitsu, a 7th-degree black belt in karate, and a black belt in what's called weapons. Huh. And I've listened to so much other people doing radio on it. That was Jonathan. You'll know this voice. His name is Ryan Schuiling, and he is with us. He's been kind. He's what we know is called breaking kayfabe. He's crossed over, and he's with us this morning to talk because I think of everyone that I know, he knows as much about this candidate as anyone. He's done, I think, very good work on it. And you have also brought with you Patricia Calabresi, who I know is just, she's got a mine worker shirt on. I haven't seen a mine worker shirt since I was 9 years old, but she's dropped out of the race, but she's here to be with us this morning. So how do we want to do this? Do you want to set this up, or because I know you two all know each other? So
yeah, know Ryan very well, and met Trish when my wife was a congressional candidate on the Republican side. And when we met, we were actually at a Memorial Day event, which I thought was really cool because we were talking off the air about common ground. Boy, if we can't come together for Memorial Day and to remember those that paid the ultimate sacrifice, what common ground could there possibly be?
That's right, absolutely, and respect to those veteran families.
Yep. Very cool. And Ryan's just a hoot. I mean, when I found out that he was from Michigan, I was really bummed. And then he goes, "But I went to Michigan State." And I go, That's okay. Just not that blue and yellow team. We're good.
We sure. Now they're in the Final Four today.
I know they are.
So we're rooting against them.
Did they play the hockey game against Denver yet?
No, not
That's
yet.
coming up in the Frozen
next week. Yeah.
So then let us begin if we could. And by the way, we're broadcasting live from the waterpros.net studio. And this is, I think, a very, very, very significant hour with more to come. What's going on in the Republican dogfight for governor? What do you see?
Well, that's a loaded question, Peter.
No, take a shot.
I would say Barb Kirkmeyer across the board is the favorite.
She's on with us this morning, later in the morning.
Tell her I said hi.
I promise.
Sure will.
And, this is a person who's got a very well-oiled machine, very organized, and got her petition signatures through. And this is really where the divide begins, I think, between the other perceived frontrunner, which would be Victor Marx that you talked about. And the questions that I have, really outnumber the answers that the Marx campaign and that Victor is willing to provide for himself because he has insulated himself with a team. He has handlers. He has an entourage. They go with him wherever he goes. It's, to me, my observations here, it's more of a production. And you talk about kayfabe with pro wrestling. Yep. That's the vibe I'm getting here.
Oh, absolutely.
Is this a real campaign? I think that's a legitimate question. That's where my analysis starts, and it is for the following reasons. He did fundraisers in Florida. He's done fundraisers out of state. He's done fundraisers in state. And any fundraiser that he's done has been meticulously organized, a well-oiled machine, very specific and with a purpose. The effort to get ballot signatures so that he could petition his way on was haphazard. And he was trying to rally late to get signatures in Congressional District 1, Congressional District 2. And these are very difficult districts for a Republican to garner those kind of signatures. But my question at that time is, why wasn't that buttoned down the way the fundraisers were? Why was it so ham-handed? Why was it so haphazard? Why didn't he make sure, why didn't his campaign make sure that we are going to get these signatures across the finish line and then we don't have to scramble at the assembly, which of course is coming up 1 week from today.
It's a week from today. That's why you're here.
But that's the thing. Is so if this is such a meticulously organized campaign and they drop the ball and they botch it on the signatures, now, you got to get to 30% at the assembly. And you're having to scramble with the likes of Scott Bottoms, who's been doing the groundwork to assemble delegates for over a calendar year. You have Jason Meixel, the sheriff from Teller County. He's run a very disciplined campaign. He's gone to all the forums and debates. I co-moderated one of those. And you also have a Joel Altman character who's been a wild card in this race. He drops out. He endorses Scott Bottoms. So is the math there to get to 30%? Certainly not for all three. That would be a very unusual thing to have happen. But I think as you break this race down into fundraising, into doing the groundwork, the retail politics, showing up on the campaign trail, the Marks campaign, either intentionally or perhaps just because they decided to run it a different way, they have not been present in any of the forums, any of the debates. The petition signature effort was, in my opinion, it's going to come up short based on the sources that I've talked to. So
The ones I talked to last night said that.
right, exactly. So there, like I said, there's just a lot of questions and not many answers being provided.
Is it a screw job ending?
Well, that's this is Jonathan. This is kind of a follow-up to that. When fundraising is your priority, and now you don't get your 30%, where's that fundraising money go when you don't make the ballot?
Well, there's a lot of questions about that, because the Election Commission regulations on how you can spend that money, and whether or not Victor Marks in his capacity as a minister for all things possible, and this is kind of what his backdrop is with all of that, would it be, this is a question now, would it be legal, technically, in the election laws to be able to donate whatever he's raised to his own ministry? Those are the questions that I think might come out of this should he not reach the 30% at Assembly a week from today.
Yeah. And what's your opinion on the street? Because obviously we're hearing all kinds of things. We've got all these forums going on. He either is in, and then he pulls out, and now he just flat out refuses. The only thing he'll do is a town hall with himself with questions in advance.
Yeah.
How do people read that? How does that go over with the groups?
Well, again, I love that Peter has this pro wrestling background because so much of this...
he does too.
Exactly. And-
Far worse than me.
But it, far worse. Worse. But it dovetails into the Montreal screw job that you talk about with Bret the Hitman Hart.
There you go.
And he is used, to borrow from the kayfabe of the appearance. The appearance of, I am this candidate, I am an outsider. All the establishments
You,
against
by the
me.
way, are known as a run-in. That's your appearance this morning. You're a run-in.
Yes.
You're not a jobber, though. You're legit.
No, I'm not a jobber. I'm not a jabroni.
You're not a
at all.
jabroni. That's right.
Right. But when I think about the likes of Senator Barb Kirkmeyer, there's very little, if at all, that's controversial about her as a character. You also have Representative Scott Bottoms. You also have Sheriff Jason Meixel. They're all known quantities in the public sphere. They've all been vetted thoroughly. But what Victor Marks and his campaign have done to avoid engaging in the arena, with those others, is cite the fact that there have been some nefarious elements who have made accusations about his daughter, for instance, and there was an incident down, I think, near Colorado Springs in which she was allegedly sexually assaulted, and that there are bad actors, this is according to the Marks campaign from my observations, that are using this to attack his family. And he is not going to share a debate stage with anybody who would be in cahoots with such a person. And he's using that to say, I won't even take the debate stage with Barb Kirkmeyer. I'm not going to elevate that person with my platform, and I'm not going to validate what they've done to my family.
Jonathan, is this from parts unknown? Do you come back into town under a hood?
Yeah.
I mean, truly.
And it's controversy. And here's the thing. I don't have receipts on any of that. It's all people talking. But when there's that much swirling around a certain individual,
you have to put
at
the
some
fires
point
out.
You got to wonder: is there a there there?
Well, and this is very important that you bring that up, Jonathan, because Heidi Ganahl, interestingly, just posted a video, making it very clear that she was not endorsing Marks, his campaign, although that was kind of the insinuation at first, right out of the gate. So let's just go back in time. He announces he's running for governor at the Charlie Kirk Memorial in Fort Collins on the campus of Colorado State University. We're just days after the assassination of Charlie Kirk on September 10th of last year. He was supposed to appear. Charlie was. That, in my opinion, was a bad look. You're hijacking the Charlie Kirk Memorial, and now you're making it about yourself and you run for governor. What's going on there? And then from there, right out of that, so this is a guy that's been dropped out of the sky, Peter. I follow politics like you do as closely as any Republican in Colorado. Never heard of this guy. And out of the gate, Representative Lauren Boebert, who Tricia ran against the last time around, and Heidi Ganahl, they've endorsed Victor Marx. Where is this coming from? Who is this guy?
Parts unknown.
Parts unknown. Yeah.
What I've talked to so many different people. I'm intrigued by this guy because I think he has appeared and reappeared in history many times. He truly has. This character, not this man, but this character. He's Saint Simon. We've seen him before. So, who is he, and what's going to happen? I think I am trading jobs or job positions. I think the fellows are going to take the Saturday show because they're going to be broadcasting from Pueblo, and I think I have next Friday. But this was my moment, and I frankly had had enough. And I said, look, not that I have any stroke, but I think we need to do a showdown moment and say, who is this guy? And I've put people in and out of the studio, but Ryan, you certainly have more than the stroke, and Jonathan, who has lived through these fundraising, and Mark seems to be cash cowing mega churches.
Yeah.
And one of my dearest friends, he's appeared at their church and they've given him money. And I think he's appeared at your church.
He has, and they say they haven't endorsed him, but they are certainly embracing him and supporting him. And it's become very polarizing. I mean, we were talking about some of the divisive groups on both sides, left or right, and you got the extreme left and right. And if you're for him, you can't say anything negative about him. And if you're not for him and you say something, you get attacked from the right.
Sure.
And if you notice, right now the left is very, very quiet right now. And I bet they got a docket about this thick.
You're exactly.
And they want him to be the candidate.
Yeah. Right. And you want to say something?
Gift to Democrats, please.
Yes.
Go ahead. Yeah. By all means.
Yeah. I mean,
like
do you think that's a game plan? Oh, you just said you like Marx. So that's the game plan.
From the Democratic perspective, yeah, I think that would be most helpful for our side, for the Democrats.
One of the things that I've noticed, this is Peter, that I've noticed is the bio changes and the saving of children, which is another one of his tales. Yeah, one of his. But that's now changed. The verbiage has changed, and where he has changed, and the whole idea of having murdered a man when he was 7?
Coerced into doing so is his story by his stepfather.
Allegedly, very good, allegedly. So that story has somewhat vanished as well. I haven't heard that story being told.
Yeah.
Well, for example, there's a lot of revisionist history being done from within, and one of those was a showdown that took place on his compound down, it was in the Springs or thereabouts, wherever he's located, and he posts a video. Now, this is all, again, these are dramas of his own making. So he puts it out there as a public figure, probably through his ministries, raising money and whatnot, but not as a political figure. But now he's got to unwind that, because in this video, he's driving a vehicle. You can check this out for yourself online. He said, I just had to stop, and it was a righteous stop, and cops are doing their job. I told them it's not my vehicle. It's like, okay, how are you driving a vehicle that doesn't belong to you? You didn't have the registration in your name. Go ahead and watch the video. This is not just me talking about it. What he leaves out of this post, though, is very important. This is really a lie by omission. But why? It was his brother-in-law that was barricaded in a trailer, who allegedly fired shots at Victor. But he left that part of the story out. Like, wait, that's pertinent. Sheriff Steve Reams, a friend of mine, asked him directly about that.
Who, by the way, just sent a text. He's listening. Good morning, Sheriff.
Hello, Sheriff.
Hello, Sheriff.
But he asked Victor directly, like, well, why did you leave that portion of the story out? As your brother-in-law, it seems to be very germane to what was going on there. Well, I didn't want to, bring my family into it. But it's like, buddy, you posted it in the first place, so you put it out there. Yeah. It's all this gaslighting and trying to reverse osmosis. Like, well, you're the reason this is a story. Like, no, you did it. You did it.
I was told that one of the claims is giving toys to children in the Arab world, in the Muslim world, that have Christian verbiage, have dialogue. Have you guys heard any of that? That the toys, and I don't know whether it's true or not, so I'm asking as a question, that there's no surer way to get yourself jammed up in the Muslim world than to have a toy with, John the, same.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So have you heard that story?
Well, there's that one, and also the children rescuing in foreign countries. And here's the thing, which is very interesting. Everything we're talking about, other than like what you mentioned, there's no confirming source on that.
There's no receipts.
It's just one thing after another that keeps stirring up. And one of my favorites is when his wife posted Morning Women, stop thrusting your breasts into my husband when you hug him. Do a church side hug and knock it off. I'm going, where does that come from?
Where does it come from?
If you're just tuning in, this is really an important moment. Peter Boyles, of course, Jonathan Flora, Peter Boyles, Trista Calvaresi, who's with us, and Ryan is with us, Ryan Schuiling is with us, and the one and only Jonathan Flora. And the target of the show, of the morning, is Victor Marx. This has to end. And I don't know what's going to happen next Saturday.
Peter, let me tell you, the bill's going to come due on this.
Well, absolutely.
The rubber's going to meet the road. I think this is my own prediction. He's not going to get the ballot petition signatures needed, so he's not going to be able to qualify for the ballot that way.
So he's going to the blade.
Well,
he's going to blade.
Well, he would have to get to 30%.
Yeah.
And I spoke about this at length with Senator Kirkmeyer. So, she comes in.
She's coming on to talk about this.
And she's already met the threshold. She's not going through assembly, so she didn't have to get to a certain number at assembly. Whereas Victor Marx, having gone the hybrid approach, would have to get to 10% if he got the signatures.
Right.
Now he's got to get to 30 otherwise. I think the clock is ticking, and we're going to see this chariot turn back into a pumpkin, to borrow the reference from Cinderella there, because the jig is up. And here's the other thing. If you go to any of his speeches, Jonathan talked about this, going to a church, he's going to tell his story. It's story time with Victor Marx. But what are his policy positions? Can he articulate policy on the spot, extemporaneously, without notes, without a website, without AI generating a policy that he had to take down, which is he was for rent controls, which is that's to the left of Tricia, way left over there. And it's where did that come from?
It's company homes.
And here's the thing, this is Jonathan that Peter and I were talking about off air. When you listen to him talk, he's captivating. You listen to him, he's got a charisma about him. He's got that magnetic pull. But then you have to listen to what he's saying.
But where's the substance?
Well, that's it. You have to listen to what he's saying, and he has yet to really present and defend his principles. And on the right, he is so polarizing. I mean, churches that are getting behind him, it's splitting the congregation.
Wow.
And that's not what a church is about. And then, of course, within the party, it's not having a conversation. You're either for him or you need to be destroyed. Mm-hmm. And that's where we are. Because we were talking about that also, Trish, outside. When my wife was running, she was asked several times, what's it like fighting the Democrats? She said, I'll let you know when I fight a Democrat. All my wounds are in the back.
That's right.
What was your experience, not only for the beginning of the gubernatorial race, but also the congressional race?
I mean, you have to take your party to task, right? Especially when it elevates the wrong kind of candidates. And that's what we had in my case, where the establishment Democratic Party put their finger on the scale. They had rules where to qualify for assembly, you have to be a Democrat for a certain amount of time. And my opponent did not meet that threshold. Mm-hmm. They booted 2 other candidates, but not her. So, I took him to task on that. Ultimately lost, but, you got to live by your principles. So
rules for thee, not for me.
That's right.
Everybody says still, I got to do a turnaround, 710 KNUS. I am Peter Boyles, and it's Saturday, April the 4th. Tomorrow, of course, is Easter. I'm getting tons of calls from people messaging, loving the show, but it's one of those shows. It's a delicate show to do, so you have to bear with us. We have more things coming up this morning, including Barbara Kirkmeyer and one of the great voices of sports, professional sports, longtime friend of Jonathan's, coming on the show. It's a Saturday, 710 KNUS. Stay right here. Saturday morning, April the 4th. Tomorrow is Easter. Beautiful weather, 64 the high today. 70 tomorrow and Monday. Back to work, sunny, dry, and 67 degrees. As I have said, this is a precarious moment, and we're going to do some goodbyes. Jonathan and I will stay. Trish and Ryan, you've been spectacular. You've come here to talk and to tell the truth. And as we got about 5 minutes, what would you like to say or leave us with in terms of this Republican Party struggle, the leadership, the organization, and Victor Marx?
Well, it's a free-for-all, right? And there is no real guiding force that unifies our party. I'd say that as a Republican, that's a true North Star at this moment. Everybody's out for themselves. You know, I've had conversation with Joe Oltmann, who is making a serious bid to be the next chair of the Republican Party. I don't know who's going to rally to try to challenge him on that front, but it obviously all fell apart for Britta Horn.
If I was hosting a daily talk radio show, I would get down on my hands and knees and ask God if he would give Joe Oltmann that chairmanship, because you're going to get the best shows that you can even imagine from Oltmann's chairmanship.
Well, he's certainly a colorful character, and it goes
Well
back to the
said.
whole pro
Well said.
wrestling
Yes.
analysis there, and he doesn't really shrink from it. So
No, he doesn't.
He braces it.
yeah, but to your point, Peter, we're going to find out a lot coming out of Assembly, and I think it's going to be absolute chaos. It's not going to be fun.
So what are your thoughts also, Trish, on your side, with so many people avoiding the assembly? And that's starting to happen on our side as well.
I mean, absolutely. And I just want to point out, even before that, I think I've debated more Republicans than Victor Marx has. So more people in his own party I've shown up to debate than he has. He should, you know, if you want to be in the arena, be in the arena. I would love to see a debate between Barb and Marx. I would watch that.
Yeah, that's a top billing
But-
right there.
What question would you ask Victor Marx that he would have to answer? What would be the question you would ask?
I would ask him to articulate a single policy position in detail. He could pick whatever he wanted a la carte off the menu. Pick one, go vertically into it, and give us specific details down to the letter, like Barb Kirkmeyer does, like Scott Bottoms does, like Jason Mikesell does, heck, like Joe Oltmann does.
Yeah.
Do it. That would be my request.
What would you ask?
Well, exactly the same thing.
Yeah.
I have no idea what his platform is. I don't.
I would ask him what school of jiu-jitsu he has
Yeah,
studied to
that's-
get a
we got
7th degree
that.
black belt, but that's
Hey, real quick commentary on kind of a side thing. The 3 Douglas County commissioners
Yeah,
just
oh
got their
boy.
knuckles wrapped.
Yep.
And as I got an op-ed coming out. Nothing says transparent government like a ham sandwich and a meeting and a lunch. What's your take on that?
Well-
They got called on. Now it's not. They said probably, so they're still looking into it.
What was the
but-
accusation? They were having some meetings off the record
Yeah,
or something
closed
like that?
meetings,
They-
and then they
closed
shut down
meetings.
public comment.
Well, you know, and I'm just going to, personal friend of mine, George Brockler, and I'm not going to speak for him.
No, we
but-
all know
but-
Brockler.
But what I
Yeah.
know is the 23rd DA, this is the bane of his existence right now. I mean, this is a total headache. It's an unforced error. It's a self-inflicted wound. It's an own goal. Keep going with the metaphors here. But, you know, George Teal, who I like, he's one of the 3 that you're talking about, but he gets a little outlandish. I mean, we had this whole thing that blew up as a story on 9 News about, fining these big box stores if there's theft.
Yeah.
And
blaming them.
poor Brockler's
Yeah.
put on the spot like, well, I didn't sign off on this. Is not my deal. And he's having to explain it when it's not his job to have to step in and explain that. So what you're asking about, Jonathan, yeah, these 3 appear to have gone rogue a little bit, and Douglas County's getting more purple. So they better be
Absolutely.
careful. This thing's going to turn blue in a hurry, and then Trish is going to be smiling over here.
Thank you. Thank you for going out of your way, and thank you for doing this.
Thank you,
And-
Peter. Thanks
no,
for
no,
having
no,
us.
because
Yeah, thank
it
you.
needs to be said. I mean, it truly does. And, you know, this is not an Edward Murrow moment, but there's a need to have the truth told.
Yeah.
And
I agree.
And just the ability to have the conversation
Yeah.
without being attacked. Let's
Yeah.
just talk about it.
yeah. I'll call you. Thank you.
All right.
Cool. Thank you
everybody.
both for being
We'll
on with
do a
us.
turnaround right now. Let's take an early break. We will open lines 303-69. Oh, we can't do a break? All right. How about open up the phone lines 303-696-1971. And let me do this while everybody says goodbye and thank you too much. My friend Danny Kaplis, we were talking about Kaplis, and if you want your case to be taken seriously, you should choose a law firm that is taken seriously. Dan Kaplis is taken seriously, and Dan Kaplis Law, a real trial firm that proves the truth when the insurance carrier does not pay all that it should in out-of-court settlements. Dan Kaplis is the only lawyer in Colorado history to win 11 straight seven-figure jury verdicts, including the record $205 million jury verdict in a wrongful death case, largest truck crash verdict in Colorado history. Danny is a serious firm. He's been a longtime great friend, a serious friend for serious cases. They accept righteous cases and death injury cases on a percentage fee basis. Trust Dan. There's no upfront fees. There's no charge for initial consultation. Danny's now in Denver, Greeley, Loveland, and Fort Collins. If you want your cases to be taken seriously, call my friend Dan Kaplis. 303-770-5551, 303-770-5551, or hit Dan Kaplis. It's CAPLISlaw.com. Coming up also on the show, and this goes back to a show we've attempted to plan for a long, long time. You have a relationship with he's a broadcasting stalwart. He's a Hall of Famer. How do you go back with Marty?
Well, it's very interesting because and we'll share this later, it's going to be so good having Marty on the air. He's been a friend of mine for a long time because I was sports broadcaster in Southern Ohio. But I grew up listening to Marty. I mean,
a whole bunch of other people sending us
well,
tests.
When my father retired from the Navy in 1970, we went back to the hometown. Al Michaels was the voice of the Reds at the time. And after the 73 season, he left the Reds to go to the Giants. Later went to ABC and called some hockey game that I guess was a pretty big deal. Yeah. So he's doing fine. And we're like, how do you replace Al Michaels? It took 2 or 3 games, and we were saying, Al who? Yeah. Marty just came in. He owned it. He was such a great partner with Joe Nuxall.
Remember that, Joe? What did they call them? Joe and Marty and Joe.
Marty and
Joe. Yeah.
And a little side note, Joe Nuxall was the youngest player ever in pro baseball. He appeared at 15 years old, just under his 16th birthday. World War II, the Reds came to look at his dad, signed his son.
It was knuckleball, right?
I'm not sure.
I think it was.
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
And he got officially shellacked for a while. Went back down to the minors. Came back and ended up having a very respectable pro career.
Remember, I thought they had a catcher's mitt that was bigger than
there were some catchers that they had the knuckleball catcher's mitt that was a little extra
to hold him. Yeah. So where did you meet him?
I met him as a kid, high school kid growing up, because they had what they call Reds caravans. Mm-hmm. This is back in the day when Marty and Joe would go to a bank in a really small farm town like mine, and they'd bring Pete and Johnny Bench and Joe Morgan. You're lined up, you get autographs, and here's a killer. Autographs for free.
Oh, absolutely.
Back then.
Absolutely.
And then I did some campus radio work, and we met through that because I have no problem approaching anybody and talking. And then when I graduated and got the radio gig, because I covered the Reds, we just developed a friendship. Interesting, his son, Tom Brenneman, when I was doing play-by-play, Tom Brenneman was my first color analysis. So that just did it. I remember doing basketball with Tom, our first game, and got our break, took the phones off and said, "You stink." He goes, "What?" I go, "You sound just like your dad."
Oh. When that's that game of bringing players, they're called, we later know in the business, they're PAs, they're personal appearances. You get money to show up. But there was a bakery, we're in Little League, playing Little League as a kid. We had to sell bonds. We'd go into bars on Saturday and dollar bonds. And the bakery brought Bob Friend, Roy Face, and a guy named Bob. We had his rookie card, Bob Clemente. We didn't know it was Clemente. We didn't know it was Roberto. We didn't know any of that. And I thought he was an Italian guy. I really did, because we listened to the games on radio, and Bob Clemente. And so we went to see him, and he couldn't speak English.
Yeah.
And he looked African American, and he couldn't speak English. And we argued about who he was. We didn't know who he was. And we were for real.
And a guy that died doing a good thing.
I
You know,
have
it's
friends.
quite the story.
I have friends I grew up with who their sons are named Roberto because of him.
And you know what? As kids, we didn't know these players were being paid for this.
No.
We just thought, wow, they found where our little town, because our town is like a couple cornfields out of Oxford, Ohio. And the idea that these big time players would come and shake your hand and actually talk to you, they didn't. I mean, they moved our line pretty quick, but it wasn't just sign, slide, move on. They chatted with you, asked what your name was, and all of that.
They had off-season jobs.
Yeah. Well, I remember the Brooklyn Dodgers, some of them were delivering ice in the offseason.
Roy Face was a carpenter.
There you go.
Roy Face. I mean, guy wins 21 in relief. What would he be worth today, or 22, whatever that number was? Bob,
That's why it broke so many hearts when the Dodgers moved to L.A., because these were actual neighborhood guys that they would see.
You see the Pirates walking in.
Yeah.
Wow. We got callers. 303-696-1971. This is Dino. Dino, you're with Jonathan and Peter. More to come this morning. It's going to get good. Hey, Jonathan. Hey, Jonathan. Hey, Dino.
Hey,
good
Pete.
morning. Hey.
Studsaw Pete, how you doing?
I know. There it is.
Well, I'll be up there in May, I guess. I'll run into you then, too.
You the man.
You there?
Yeah, sure.
Oh, yeah. I didn't hear the click on it, yeah. Kudos again. You were a few weeks off. You would have won any bet you would have had. But, yeah, Bonday's gone. You predicted that well, but you were a few weeks late on it. But, she never recovered from the Epstein files. And Trump must have just carried her for a while, then bye-bye.
Do you think, how much of that, her firing, do you think had to do with her behavior?
Oh, so quite a bit, Sub. Yeah, he measures a lot of stuff. Look at Christy Nome. Same principle. Same thing, yeah. He found out about her when her husband was dressed like a transvestite and stuff. That's also another final straw, so yeah.
Well, I don't know if he's...
See if those pictures
Did you see
out.
that picture of him? My God. No wonder he stays with her. He has nothing about himself, so he stays with her just for
when
the
they asked
money
him
train.
about his wife, and what did he say? There's nothing I can do about it, or what did he say, John? Do you remember what he said? There's not much I can do about it, or words to that effect.
Yeah. Well, he was evidently, that was one of the women that he was corresponding with that said, I hear your wife's having an affair. He goes, well, there's not much I can do about that.
Yeah, he did say
that's crazy
exactly
stuff.
what he said.
Yeah. Well, and going back to Pam Bondi, when somebody like Bondi gets pushed out, it's rarely about one moment. It's more about alignment, bringing on the next person. Epstein files did not help. She's a bulldog, a go-getter, but we do understand from what I'm hearing is that some of the cases that she was referring to the Supreme Court probably shouldn't have gone.
No.
Because Trump has come out on the wrong end of it. Yes. But it's also getting the next person. And changeovers at midterms is not uncommon.
No, well,
sure.
Getting rid of people before the vote is a very smart thing, especially if you think they're going to be a detriment to your chances.
Right.
So you get rid of them. And both of those women have angered up
They've frothed up a certain sector for
yes,
sure.
Yes, indeed. And you get rid of them.
She found out, though, on a plane going back to Tampa. That's what she found out.
Well,
that's a little rough go.
I read that, Dino, but when you have to get rid of somebody, there's no easy way. I mean,
it does happen to me, sure.
When it was
on my phone or in person, whatever.
Yeah, on the
I agree.
Yeah.
And even when it was Nixon, and we've talked about this before, but it was you, Scott, it was Barry Goldwater, it was all of those arch, powerful Republicans, and they got in the limos, and they went to the White House, and they said, Dick, it's time. We can't hold it. We can't hold the vote. You have to go. And that's when Nixon decides that it's time to leave. It isn't some moment of clarity, well, I better get out of here. It's when the power comes and says. And, there's a lot of people around Trump. He's got the term kitchen cabinet, but he's got a lot of advisors who are not on the payroll.
Yeah, and Trump works in a way that when he gets rid of somebody, he's expecting somebody more efficient at what they do next. And Todd Blanche is going to be really interesting how he works out. I mean, he's got the street cred that Trump likes so much. He's an accomplished litigator.
He's a bulldog-looking guy.
And he's not flashy or gregarious, which is Kristi Noem was not the exact opposite of that. No. So he's not going to be in it for the flash. He's going to do the job.
She looked good on paper.
Well, and Border Barbie. That's unfortunately what happened.
They look good on paper.
Yep.
But it's when they start getting shot at is what happens. And and now she lost her load a couple of times, and people turned on her. And now, by the way, Dino, how do you think this war is going?
It's rough. Obviously, you had one sortie go down. They're still trying to search for the other, the crew member. I don't know. He starts going into bombing actual cities to cut off actual power. All that. The citizens are going to be suffering more than the actual what's left of the regiment. The regime. I don't know.
Do either of you guys believe they're negotiating, or do you think? Because remember, this is going to be unconditional surrender. You don't negotiate.
I was going to mention that next. Yeah, he changed his mind. Like, he wanted it to be like Japan on the USS Missouri. It's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. I don't know what. I don't see how they can. They don't know who's in charge. I think they're just trying to wait him out.
Yeah, hearing the negotiating stuff bothers me, because when he said unconditional surrender, I said we haven't heard anybody say that since Truman. All right.
Oh.
But now negotiating, that's not the way to go. We win, and they come to the table on their knees.
Well, it was unconditional surrender was the demand at Tehran of the Nazis, and it becomes the same with the Japanese. Hey, Dean, thanks. We're back right after this on 710 KNUS.
Your 710 5-day forecast. Going to have gorgeous sunny skies for this Saturday in the Denver metro. Comfortable temps in the lower 60s with clear skies tonight and lows around the upper 30s. For Easter Sunday, we'll start warming into the upper 60s. Sunny skies finishing up the holiday weekend with lows upper 30s, low 40s Sunday night, skies clear. Getting back to work Monday, sunny upper 60s, lower and mid 70s Tuesday and Wednesday. By the afternoon and evening, we'll start to see some rain showers move back to the region. Meteorologist Don Watzel in the 710 KNUS Weather Center.
Morning again, everyone. Saturday, the 4th of April, 2026, 303-696-1971 with a line open. 64 sunny today, 70 on Easter. Talk about health for a second, then we'll go to the phones. We all know the Great Smile Matters. Last Saturday, of course, we had Dr. Richter with us. A lot of folks put off the dentist because they're worried about the bill or the drill. Well, it's time to change all that. I'm a huge Richter fan and forever with Twin Aspen Dental. Doctors Richter, Snyder, and Rich are using the latest technology, making things easy on you. We're talking about same-day crowns. No temporary crowns come off on Friday night. No second appointments. They do it right. Whether you need dentures or implants, you're finally ready to straighten out your teeth. You can use Invisalign. The team at Twin Aspen Dental treats you like a neighbor, not a number, for real. They accept most insurance, in-house membership plans, game changers for families looking to save on preventative care. These are the guys. Stop putting it off. Take the first step towards a better smile and better health. Visit them online, twinaspendentalcenter.com. Easy to navigate. You can see everything they offer. twinaspendentalcenter.com, 303-841-7466, 303-841-7466. We go to Ralph. Ralph, you're on the radio show. Good morning and thank you.
Good morning, Peter. Thank you.
Thank you.
I was born a few months after VJ Day, and before I die, I actually would like to see the U.S. win a war. Korea, Vietnam, Iraq, Libya, Afghanistan, all quagmires, all disasters. And we're going through it right now. The only question is how soon can we get out? The bottom line here, if you remember that old movie of Dr. Strangelove,
Oh, sure.
or How I Learned to Love the Bomb.
Love the bomb, yeah.
Okay. Well, that was a dead man switch. And what the Iranians are doing is essentially a dead man switch with the Persian Gulf. We can protect our bases, well, maybe not in the area, because I've heard that we have basically abandoned 3 of our major bases there. But the thing is, if we hit them hard, harder than we're doing now, then they will go to the soft underbelly of the war effort, which is Kuwait, Qatar, and the UAE. And they are already, they used to be our allies, now they're trying to find some way where they can go hide. Even if we
let me, if I could, Peter, this is an iffy war. These are historians call a war of choice.
Right.
This is a choice war. The reason why I'm told this war is fought or being fought is because these people have threatened us and they're going to get a nuke. Now, I've heard that once before. And can you name a war that the United States has gotten itself involved in the Middle East that it's come out okay? The only one was the United States Army defeats Rommel. But he's a German, and they're there, and it's along with, of course, the British armies there. But Rommel was defeated in North Africa the last time, and the rest of it has all been protracted. And
sure,
I wonder how we got from unconditional surrender to we're negotiating, and we did it in a very short amount of time.
We ran into a thing called the Mosaic Defense. Fundamentally, and let me give you a boxing analogy. Rope-a-dope.
Well, that was...
And...
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Muhammad Ali did the rope-a-dope and when he fought in the Rumble in the Jungle, and he took the strap back from Foreman, And...
Well, basically, that's what they're doing to us. Okay, so we've destroyed what? We've killed not less than 10,000 people, let's say, but they have 80 million. So we can keep hitting them. And, the bombing strikes look great on TV. But every time you kill, as McChrystal said, one innocent, you end up with 10 people opposing you.
Ask yourself this question, and it's the same thing. In Gaza today, all the little boys, principally boys, who are 7, 8, 9, and 10 years old, who survived that, where are they in 9 or 10 years from now?
Peter, let me answer that with a story. In Vietnam, a visiting, how shall I say, poobah from Washington asked me why the hell these damn North Vietnamese kids with a 12.9 or 12.7 machine gun, no possible chance of survival, would stand in place and shoot at one of our F-4s, our fighters. Certain death.
Well,
the reason was they're Vietnamese. This is their country. As one of our generals pointed out after we had, how shall I say, declared victory and ran away in Vietnam, he was trying to get some prisoners out, and he was talking with his Vietnamese counterpart, North Vietnamese counterpart. And he said, well, we have never lost a war. We didn't lose a battle here in the Vietnam area. And his Vietnamese compatriot, who was handling the other side, looked at him and says, so what?
Well,
what you forgot is that to you, Vietnam is a war. To us, it is our country.
Well,
end of discussion.
In reading history, which always is the great teacher and lesson giver, the Vietnamese knew, and you can read them. They knew that they didn't have to win; they just didn't have to lose.
Well, Ho Chi Minh said, we're not going to beat you in the jungle. We're going to beat you in your city streets.
Yeah, well,
meaning they're going to turn against the war.
Our city streets.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's going to be with protests, and they're going to get our desire to fight. But what gets me about the Iran thing is how so many people are thinking this. How'd we get here? Like this just started 5 minutes ago. This isn't a new war. This conflict has been going on for 48 years.
No, it's been going on way before that.
Well, I mean, for the real U.S. engagement, because Iran has been the #1 sponsor of terrorism around the world.
We, in 1941, FDR, and of course they were all together, and they overthrew the Shah's father, and they put the Shah on the throne. And then they overthrew, when there was a duly open and free election, and a guy named Mossadegh won. So the CIA and MI6 and Aramco, they got rid of him. They overthrew him. And that's when the original Ayatollah went to Paris, and we brought in a secret police force called SAVAK. And we may not want to know this, and we may not want to remember it, but they do. So I'm not defending them, but you have to, what does Lao Tzu teach us in the art of war? Know your enemy. Do you think that for a second that George Bush and Dick Cheney had any idea who those Afghans were? No, they didn't know. And
Peter, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, the conclusions of protracted Third World guerrilla wars are always on the side, with one exception, the Chinese in Malaysia, when the attempt was to have a government overthrown in Malaysia. And the problem was, and they had it in Bolivia, by the way, with the same thing with Che Guevara. The people didn't want them. The people did not want them. There was nobody on your side. And of course, Che Guevara is Che Guevara. In Malaysia, the British won the protracted Third World. Other than that, I don't know.
Let me complete the Sun Tzu quote that you just said. Know your enemy, and you will win 50% of your battles. Know yourself and your enemy, and you will win 100%. I'm not against bombing the hell out of Iran.
Why?
I am a follower of let's put it this way. If we're stupid enough to get into it, then we damn well should win. Agreed. I'm a follower of Curtis E. LeMay. And if Trump, we're going to bomb them back into the Stone Age. Yeah, right. I want to see this.
LeMay's war.
But fundamentally, if you don't and put boots on the ground, you lose.
LeMay's war ended in Tokyo Bay. It's a lot more difficult, or a lot more intrinsic than that. Thank you. 710 KNUS, we got a turnaround. Last Saturday, I watched the fights. And stay right here. 710 KNUS. Jonathan and Peter, right back.